I got the idea a few weeks ago to prank my friends by pretending to be an Appletarian, meaning somebody who only eats food products that are derived from apples and would only drink apple juice or apple cider. I told them all that I had read on the internet that eating only apples was the healthiest thing for you. When I first told them, they thought I was joking, but they underestimated how committed I would be to a joke. So, whenever in the presence of one of my friends or friend of friends and coworkers, etc. who knew them, I was very careful to only be seen eating apples or drinking apple juice and cider. Apples whole, apples diced, applesauce, the inside of an apple pie, baked apples, candy apples with the chocolate shaved off, etc. Finally, after about a week, they bought that I had become an Appletarian. They started giving me information about how unhealthy it was to only eat apples and growing increasingly exasperated by it. Some of them even got angry. But I wanted to stick with the joke. Finally, after the end of 3 weeks, I walked into what I was told was a movie night but was actually an intervention for me. They were all super concerned about my well-being and had all sorts of information or whatever. Finally, I started laughing hysterically. They were confused as hell, so I told them I had been faking it the whole time and had been eating real meals outside their knowledge. I even took out some beef jerky from my pant pocket to prove it and munched it. I thought they'd appreciate the joke, but they were actually really annoyed. My girlfriend even broke up with me over this because a few days ago I had ruined our date night when I told the waiter I only wanted apples because I was an Appletarian and had embarrassed her for a dumb joke. In my opinion, the joke was solid and they should appreciate my commitment to the prank. But, did I go too far? You're the idiot, although maybe a mild one. The idea itself is funny, but taking it to the level where your friends felt the need to organize an intervention was going too far. The intervention shows that your friends genuinely care about you and were worried about your well-being, and taking advantage of that genuine concern for a prank is a pretty unappreciative thing to do. The same thing goes in my opinion for any prank where the goal is to make your loved ones seriously worry about your welfare. It's basically making fun of them for caring about you. Not the idiot, kind of, yes you're an idiot, all pranks have that about them, but not in a bad way. From what you've said, no one got hurt and there's no permanent damage. Apart from, it seems, your relationships. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and I can imagine that they're annoyed because you're a really good liar. No one likes being lied to, especially when it caused them to actually take you seriously and be worried about your health. Your girlfriend is overreacting, I think, but I don't know her and I wasn't there for the date. You're the idiot. I get it, the concept is funny, but making people who legitimately care about you worry enough to have an intervention is crappy. They showed you that they were willing to trust you and stick by you, even if your beliefs are strange. They showed you that they care about your well-being and health. You threw that in their face, laughing because they were dumb enough to think that you were trustworthy and care about you. This is harmful to your relationships. You should apologize. My friend is quirky. She was never diagnosed with anything, but she is very clueless sometimes. I have had to spell things out for her a lot. A few months back, she borrowed a dress of mine. I really love that dress. There isn't any sentimental value, but I got it when we were on vacation a few years ago. She also loved the dress and one day just transferred the money to my account and told me that she was keeping the dress. I spoke to her, but she just told me that doesn't matter as she has paid me. Her birthday was a week ago, and her mom asked me to bake a big cake for her. I usually sell cakes cheap, little more than ingredients cost. On her birthday, I went over to her house with the cake 15 minutes before the party was due to start and then decided to talk to her mother. Like I said, sometimes my friend is really clueless sometimes, and I was hoping her mom would speak to her and get my dress back. I was very shocked when she also said that as long as I was paid, what does it matter? She told me to just move on as it was just a dress and that my friend really liked it. She told me, as long the dress was paid for, what am I complaining about? I got really pissed off and pulled out the amount she paid me, put it on the table, picked up the cake and left. She got mad and started yelling at me that I was ruining the party. I kept walking back to my house. She kept telling me to give back the cake and that I couldn't take it back just because I want to be petty. I just asked what she was complaining about as I had paid back the money. My friend ended up having a cakeless 16th birthday because of this. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. This is great. It may be petty to some people, but it sounds to me like this was just the way to teach your friend and her awful mother a lesson. And she's not really your friend if she just disregards everything you say about your dress. Who makes up rules that you can take whatever you want as long as you give some money for it? By that logic, you could walk into her house, say you really like their TV, and leave with it as long as you throw some money on the stand where it used to be. Not the idiot. Proud of you for standing up for yourself, OP, regardless of how clueless you think your friend is. I promise you she really isn't. Her mom probably told her to do what she did and convinced her it was fine based on her outburst about the cake. Don't ever let people like that bully you or make you feel bad about anything. She's the one who ruined her daughter's birthday by treating you the way she did and letting you know you're less than her daughter, but your things are more than good enough. Not the idiot. It sounds like your friend is selfish and entitled, not quirky. And based on your interaction with her mom, it's easy to see where she got it from. She stole your dress, period. It doesn't matter if she gave you money for it, if it's not for sale, then keeping it is stealing. Don't let her borrow anything else again, and it would probably be best to not have her over at your home anymore, because who knows what else she'll get sticky fingers around. Though honestly it would be best to just end the friendship as she can't be trusted. I, 36, and my wife, 37, have 2 kids, a daughter, 13, and a son, 11. My son is autistic and has been diagnosed since he was 4. Earlier today, I heard my daughter yelling something and then my son screaming and crying shortly after. I immediately went to her room to see what was going on. My son was having a full meltdown and my daughter was glaring at him. My first instinct was to calm my son down, but he wouldn't listen to me and he kept screaming. Luckily, my wife entered the scene and told me she would handle him. I took my daughter to another room and asked her what happened. She told me that she had a school project done on her laptop and that my son came into her room asking to borrow her laptop. She let him do it and when he returned it to her, her project folder was gone. She asked him about it and he said he accidentally deleted it, so my daughter screamed at him and he went into a meltdown. I told my daughter that she shouldn't have screamed at my son, but I understood why she was upset. I left it at that. Later, my wife told me that she got our son to tell her what happened and she was going to punish our daughter. I told my wife that she should let it go this time because it was an important school project and our daughter was understandably upset. I said that I'd already told her not to scream, but it was probably just a natural reaction and not entirely my daughter's fault. My wife got mad at me and said that my daughter should have controlled her emotions better, being the older one and knowing that her brother is autistic. I told my wife that my daughter was already upset about her deleted project and she was already very stressed out about having to redo her project and that my wife should let it go this time. My wife proceeded to call me an idiot and for spoiling our daughter and disregarding my son's feelings. She's ignoring me now and I can't help but wonder if maybe I shouldn't have sided to my daughter over my wife. Am I really the idiot here? The work was done on a Word document and my daughter left it open without saving it. My son closed the app without saving it either. Not the idiot. It seems like everyone just got a bit heated here. Wife is understandably concerned over the screaming, son needs to be given his own profile on the laptop where he can't access daughter's work. Wife needs to understand that daughter is still a child and will occasionally not have control over her emotions. If the Word doc wasn't yet saved you might still be able to get it back. By opening a new doc, a prompt might come up with a recovered version of at least some of the work. Not the idiot. This is a lose-lose situation. I understand that your son is an autistic 11-year-old, but that still doesn't change the fact that your 13-year-old daughter has feelings as well. Yes, she should have probably not yelled at him. She shouldn't be punished for her feelings though, and if you punish her, it teaches him that there are no consequences for his actions. It will show him that others take the fall when they get upset because of his actions. This is a difficult situation to live in, but it's doable. Not the idiot. You should be punishing your son. Your daughter did nothing wrong. He deleted her schoolwork. Having autism does not excuse poor behavior. It explains it, but never excuses it. If you teach him acting bad is okay, he'll grow up expecting the world to cater to his meltdowns. Your wife needs to stop babying the boy too. Treat him as his age and treat them equal. She is looking to create an environment where one child can't be trusted around anything of value, or God forbid trying to train your daughter to handle your son, so mom doesn't have to. So I can't even believe this is real life right now, but we just got kicked out of my mom's house. My wife and I have a 5-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl, and my wife is super militant about sugar. Sugar for breakfast is a definite no-no. My stepdad came home with a donut for my 12-year-old sister for breakfast, which triggered a massive tantrum from our 3-year-old. My wife called my stepdad selfish for bringing a donut into the house, his freaking house, and my stepdad went off calling us both horrible names and making fun of my wife's body and bad skin. My sister and mom were just laughing and I tried to defuse, but my wife took the rest of the donut out of my sister's hand and threw it in the trash. My mom and stepdad went crazy. I was trying to get my 2 kids away because they were saying some really abusive stuff and my sister was asking if she could get her arrested. My stepdad said we had to get out immediately and he was so angry it was scaring me. I just grabbed my kids and we left. My mom called an hour later and said we aren't welcome back because my sister feels unsafe over a freaking donut. I could hear my stepdad in the back threatening to spit on my grave. He is Middle Eastern and has some weird ideas about money and family honor, and I think he was really offended. My wife was going off about what an idiot my mom is, and I told her that it is her fault. I get that my mom acted crazy, but I still blame my wife for starting all of this. She cried and asked me to take it back, but I refused. Now she has been crying on and off all day and I think she is beginning to blame herself. Everyone's the idiot here, except the kids, of course. Dude, you need to step up and find a place to live. This isn't the time to blame your partner, you need to work together, you're homeless during a freaking pandemic. Yes, was your wife wrong to do what she did? Sure, but something tells me this isn't the first time your family has argued and it probably wouldn't be the last time. Forget about your mom's house, it's obvious you aren't welcome there and to be honest, it doesn't seem like a very stable environment. You need your own home for your own family. I think this is an everyone's the idiot here situation. The wife sounds just like most people who are control freaks and their outlet is food. However, the moment the family starts making fun of the wife's body and bad skin and OP stays silent, he became an idiot. So their whole living setup seems awful and was on thin ice to begin with. All of them except the kids appears toxic. But if one fight with the in-laws is enough to make you homeless, you were already in a pretty tough spot. Hope things get better for you, OP. Not the idiot for saying it's your wife's fault, cause it is. She shouldn't be asking you to take it back. Your parents may have gone overboard, but I'm wondering if your wife went this ballistic over a donut that no one was cramming down her or your kids' mouths, then there have been other tiresome incidents. This may have been the straw that broke the camel's back as far as your mom's husband is concerned, and he decided he'd had enough. Tell your wife it's her turn to figure out the housing situation since she blew up the one you did. So I, 22, got a car as a graduation present when I was 18 from my father, who has since died of cancer. It was only a couple years old, and it's a pink buggy. I absolutely adore it, I've always been pretty girly, and it was the perfect car for me. I wasn't some spoiled little rich kid though, I paid my own insurance and gas, and my father saved for years to get me my dream car if I graduated with a 4.0, which I did. I take such good care of it inside and out, and everyone in my life knows how much it means to me, for aesthetic reasons as well as sentimental. Anyways, I turn 23 next week and today I was inside watching TV when my boyfriend, 38, who I thought was running errands, came home excited and told me to come outside. I ran out and saw a light silver car in the driveway. I was kinda confused because I already have a car, but I was trying not to show it. I asked what year it was and he said 2001. He told me he bought it off some guy for $700 and the only repairs it needed were new tires and brakes, saying, "You can finally sell your bug now." He wants to use that money to take a vacation after travel bans lift, too. I told him nicely that I appreciated the gesture, but that I already had a car that I love and that's much newer and more reliable. He got pissed off and told me how ungrateful I was being and that I was some spoiled little kid who didn't know what it was like to work for anything, which is crap. I pay most of our bills and have a savings. He spends all his on video games, etc. He then basically told me, with much more cussing and screaming, that he wasn't gonna be driven around in some ugly little kid car anymore, and it's embarrassing that his younger girlfriend drives him to work and events, etc. in something straight out of a 2000s teen movie. I told him he could use the car he just bought to drive himself around then, and he said no, because he doesn't like driving, he wants me to do it, just not in my bug. At that point I was at a loss and went back inside, and he then kicked the side of my bug, got in the silver car, and took off. I don't know where he is now, and I don't care. I feel like he got me a gift for him and not me, and proceeded to insult me for telling him I don't want it. I told my friend about it and she took his side, saying I need to take his feelings about it into account and that my bug is kind of embarrassing and I'm too old for it now. I don't know what to think. I love my car and I don't want to change who I am just because I'm a few years older now, but I also don't want this car to ruin my relationship. I also feel bad because I basically said, screw you to his gift, which was pretty expensive as far as gifts go. I don't want to get rid of it, but if I'm the idiot for being stubborn and reacting the way I did, then I'll definitely apologize and maybe give it to my 15-year-old cousin so I can still have a connection to it. Let me know, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your boyfriend is a huge gaping idiot. He's embarrassed to be brought to work in a pink car. That is one fragile ego he's got. Considering he doesn't want to drive himself, I hope you tell him to enjoy walking from here on out. On top of that, I'm sure he knows full well how much that car means to you as your dad saved so hard to get it for you and that it means so much more since he has passed. Tell your boyfriend to either A. use the car he bought to get himself to work or B. use it to drive out of your life. Not the idiot, break up with this man. He is weak if he can't understand the sentimental value of the car and is embarrassed because it's pink. The fact he kicked it. Bruh, you handled it better than I would've. I also want to add that he bought you a 2001, which would be a 19-year-old car. You got your car 4 years ago when it was a few years old, so math-wise this has to be way older of a car, and I can't imagine it would be that reliable at 19 years old. Not the idiot. He had every right to offer you a gift, albeit this was a very self-serving gift, and you have every right to decline that gift politely. You also have every reason to decline that gift. Your car is in perfectly fine condition, there's no reason to upgrade it, especially considering the strong sentimental connection you have to it. If he really wanted to give you a gift, he'd have bought you a paint refresh, a maintenance plan, a snazzy interior detailing job for the car you have and clearly already love.